So we have another new headline about the spending bill slash infrastructure bill discussion that continues to, I don't want to be negative, but it sort of is like plaguing us at this point. The fact that it's discussion and grandstanding and people getting attention for getting attention for opposing things that they should be in favor of. But maybe this is good news. And the news is that House Democrats have put paid family leave back into the spending bill. Now, I'm going to tell you what the news is, and I'm going to tell you what's being said. But my view on this is that this it's in and of itself may be grandstanding. And I don't know if I'm at this point just jaded and cynical. You'll have to tell me, but we'll get to that. Remember, the context is that even as things were completely falling apart, Bernie Sanders went on TV over the weekend and said, hey, I'm still working on the prescription drug cost control aspect of this. And then on Tuesday, it was announced, hey, the prescription drug control component is back in the bill. We talked about that a couple of days ago. Now the news is House Democrats put paid family leave back into the bill. The Hill reporting, House Democrats have amended the enormous social spending framework at the heart of President Biden's economic agenda to include paid family leave, a popular provision that had met resistance from Senator Joe Manchin and was thought to be removed. The change was announced Wednesday morning in a letter from Speaker Pelosi, who said the House Rules Committee would meet later in the day to consider the changes. But Pelosi stopped short of announcing the vote on the package. Instead, the Speaker said there remain a few outstanding issues. It has been my intention through the process to put on the House floor and pass a bill that would pass the Senate in the same form. Because I've been informed by a senator of opposition to a few of the priorities contained in our bill, and because we must have legislation agreed to by the House and Senate in the final version of Build Back Better, that we will send to the president's desk, we must strive to find common ground. Biden initially proposed 12 weeks of paid family leave, a provision adopted by House Democrats, but Manchin balked at the $494 billion price tag, forcing negotiators to consider a sharp reduction down to 4 weeks before Biden slashed it all together. Progressives grumbled and said they would accept it as a cost of enacting other social benefits. Pelosi on Wednesday, however, said paid leave would be part of the House Rules Committee's discussion. The decision came at the urging of many members of the caucus. Chairman Richie Neal and the committee staff have worked on this priority for a long time and we're ready. The provision will provide 4 weeks, not the 12, 4 weeks of permanent parental and medical leave, according to an aide familiar with the language. Alex Bolton reporting, Manchin not thrilled to hear Speaker Pelosi has added 4 weeks of paid leave back in BBB. That's a challenge, and they know how I feel about it. So, okay, first of all, this isn't the infrastructure bill. This is the 2022 budget bill labeled Build Back Better or BBB. There's confusion between the two without a doubt. Often it's not really, they just say the bill. So there's confusion, but this is the Build Back Better bill. Now, in an ideal world, everything would be in its own bill. So you say, okay, let's do a bill for paid family leave. Who's for it? Who's against it? Okay, you figure it out. The problem is that if you did that, a whole bunch of stuff would just never pass. The whole system we have is this pseudo-corrupt system of cronyism and earmarks and pork, where people in the House and Senate agree to support X as long as Y is in there. And that's sort of like a for better or for worse thing. That's why we get these packages with so many things in there. Now, there are real questions as to how these 4 weeks would even work. Do you have to pay into it or not? What counts as leave? What's a worker? What about gig workers? What about self-employed people, independent contractors? Does it only apply to W-2? We just don't know. And what's the future of this? We have absolutely no idea. What I know is two things, and this is where I want to go back to, am I being too cynical? Time is running out to get this done this calendar year, to get this done before the House and Senate recess for the end of the year. I am starting to wonder whether things are getting added back in so that it looks better as a bill that's not going to pass. What I mean by that is, one perspective is that Build Back Better is dead, that the Build Back Better Act, at least in 2021, is not going to pass. So thinking very cynically, Are they making the bill more robust so that when it doesn't pass, they can say, look, we put our best foot forward. We added prescription drug controls. We added some paid leave so that the bill looks better to progressives, knowing that the bill is essentially dead. They will not pass a better bill rather than not pass a crappier bill. I don't know. It's all disappointing. This has been going on for months at this point. These are all things that should not be controversial in a country as rich as the United States. These things aren't controversial in most other countries at our level of wealth. But let me know if you think I'm being too cynical about now they're just trying to make the bill better before not passing it, to say it would have been a pretty good bill, but it has no chance of passing. Let me know what you think. Let's be honest, most health food snacks are not very exciting. They don't taste great. They don't fill you up. One of our sponsors is Monk Pack, who makes amazing keto granola bars that are sweet, soft, chewy, and filling with a slight crunch. Each has only 1 gram of sugar, 2 to 3 net carbs, and just 140 calories. Perfect for anybody doing low carb or keto. Or if you just want a tasty, sweet snack without the sugar. Everybody should be mindful of sugar intake, but you don't have to do so at the expense of flavor, because Monk Pack Keto Granola Bars come in delicious flavors like coconut cocoa chip, peanut butter, blueberry, almond, vanilla. There are other flavors too, I can tell you firsthand. They're all great. I always keep these in my pantry. It's a perfect snack during a busy day. Go to monkpack.com, link underneath this video, and you'll save 20% when you use the promo code PACMAN at checkout.